I'm going to talk about a project called No Direct Flight that I curated while I was here at the BFI in partnership with the British Council. I'm going to take a bit of a whiz through a media timeline. So, 1895, what happened? Cinema, man, come on. Cinema came through in 1895. 1929, what happened? TV. First BBC broadcast, 1989. Oh, there you go, the internet came on stream. In 1992, there was a project called Digital Diaspora by a bunch of black early hackers and tech adopters who smashed 5 ISBN blocks together to live link art club nights between London, San Francisco, and New York. 2005, YouTube came online. 2006, Twitter. 2010, IG, Instagram. And 2010, the term Black Twitter was coined, which pertained to the fact that at that time, African Americans were the highest users of Twitter, 28% as opposed to non-African American audiences. In 2013, there was the Kenyan elections. And the reason why I mention that is because this is where a company called Cambridge Analytica began to test bed a new way of swerving political polling by manipulating data technology. And in 2016, Brexit came along, and kind of the rest is history. But I mentioned those things on the timeline because of 3 things: to show that in the last 30 years, the development of online media has exponentially splintered single-screen media, and that ruled for almost 100 years. So this has been really accelerated. That also, amongst that, Black African diaspora people were early adopters and critical engagers and have helped develop unique online languages and technology. And thirdly, that the desire for connection is integral to that online language development. So since the development of the way in which user-generated content channels like YouTube, since they've come on stream and since they've been professionalized, it's kind of changed the game really in a number of ways. A parallel network for producers and audiences that may or may not segue with traditional big screen and terrestrial networks has emerged. A P2C relationship, a direct producer to audience consumer relationship, which Ben mentioned earlier. New rating systems, therefore new economies have emerged. So platform executive Jamal Edwards, for example, of SBTV, has 1.4 million subscribers, earning the 29-year-old a net worth of 45 million. And it's also created new forms that bleed between short form, music video, and web series. So there's a whole new language of work that's developed because of the internet. I think it really reconnects people who were previously disempowered and disenfranchised from traditional cultural power structures, but connected through a cultural aesthetic. Now I'll explain what that means in a minute. Kind of means this, in a way. I've been intrigued by a certain kind of language that's developed because of the internet, that's not developed on mainstream media, but it's developed in spite of it, and in a way has been accelerated through the online space. So some examples here: top right, Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, who discovered British-based Rwandan-born choreographer Sherry Silver online and got her to take a leading creative role on the This Is America video, which became the most watched of that year. Beyonce, we have her top left, is known to be the internet magpie. She's accused of cribbing styles using the kind of online space. Her latest video now bears a striking resemblance to Rara Nembard and Petite Noir's latest video, the artists we profiled in the project No Direct Flight, which I'm going to tell you about. Bottom right, Congolese poet, musician, and visual artist Balaji's music videos live online like art pieces and have gained a global following as a result. And bottom left, Peckham-born Nigerian Jen and Kiru's global partnerships with filmmakers like Bradford Young, Beyonce, Nena Cherry are single-handedly remixing the art of the lyrical visual album. All of this work, in a way, is developed because of the internet. And the internet being an unmediated space where makers can just upload their work and directly reach their audience. So in the 30th year of the internet, the anniversary of the internet, which is this year, I wanted to test 4 things: how to explore this underexplored and unclaimed aesthetic movement, how to bring together work made for the smallest screen into cinema's biggest church, which is where you're sitting now. How to bring an international community together who meet up online, but not necessarily in person. And how to begin to test the relationship between IRL and digital exhibition. No Direct Flight took place just now, about less than a month ago, in this very same room and NFT One, ran over 10 days at the start of August, and showed about 40 works from around the African diaspora with a focus on Africa's digital hub, Kenya. Kenya, by the way, has an internet penetration rate that's above 90%, and it's a 5G testbed. It's one of the most advanced places in the world for internet technology. We matched these films with classic features that spanned 50 years. We brought over 24 filmmakers together in discussion with audiences. And at the heart was a global meetup where we discussed expansive and troubling ideas about digital connection, authorship, and power. In terms of audience, we attracted about 900 attendees. The online stats are being compiled. And thanks to the BFI research unit here, we gathered research with about a third. There was about 50% 16 to 34-year-olds, highest group between 25 and 34. 50% BAME and non-BAME, and 50% non-BAME audience. So it looked like London, which is rare for cultural spaces. 21% were new audiences to this venue, the BFI, and 68% said that the season made them realise that African moving image was at the forefront of the digital age. The chance to meet in person was a really high, something that people really liked. A lot of these people knew each other online, but had never met, and this became a meeting space for that. From a BFI point of view, hurrah, boxes were ticked, right? 52% BAME audience, 12%, normally it's only 12%, 21% new audience as opposed to 9%. Everyone was very happy. However, from the audience's point of view, it's very different. One person said, this isn't a new audience to me, because a lot of the people who are in attendance are the people I would expect to be in attendance. And so there's a really interesting thing, I think, about audience expectation, what mainstream spaces see as diversifying their audience, and what the audience themselves see as diverse, which I think is kind of interesting. So what did we learn so far from this? Well, first of all, I think there's something very exciting about there's a potential for greater porosity between online and IRL spaces. What do I mean by that? For sure, the relationship between the viewer and the text changes. When you're watching a film within a collective context, it changes the whole experience of viewing it. And I think that was very exciting to the audience who were used to watching stuff on their phone or on a handheld device. The other thing that was very clear was live learning. We learn best together. You need others to bounce ideas around to get new perspectives. Can spaces like this become meeting grounds to discuss our activity online, to compare it and contrast for audiences? And yes, we prove they can be. No Direct Flight revealed two nuts we have to crack, in my opinion, if we are to meaningfully serve the audiences of the future. First, we need to rip up all we think we know about the art of communications, and we need to understand deep engagement. How do we meaningfully dialogue with our audiences? The Love Island example was kind of interesting, actually. The other nut I think we have to crack is to stop thinking nationally and to think globally. Latest figures displayed on the World Economic Forum website shows that 76% of the world's 7.5 billion population are Asian and African. A further 6% Central and South American, leaving only 17% American and European. You wouldn't know that if you went to the latest film festival, for instance. The internet gives us far-reaching sight, and it's why streaming companies like Netflix have very different and diverse commissioning models. Because here's the thing, we don't just consume our nation-state media. Audiences of the future consume the world, which is why there are hip-hop artists rapping in Tamil and Russians dancing the Ghanaian Pololo dance move. How, as commissioners, are we going to reflect that internationalism in our programming? Our concepts of audience and styles is yet to be seen. So No Direct Flight's flight path for next year is brewing. There's 10 cities who want us to touch down. So if you'd like more information, my details are there, and I'm happy to chat to you afterwards. Thank you.